John Fogerty with 93.3 JakeFM, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and a member of the new Brad album. How about that? You got the title cut and everything.
Wow, who'd have thunk, huh?
Who would have thunk? But really, I think the real who'd have thunk it is the fact that this is the first time you co-wrote with anybody.
That's true.
How did that come about?
It was Brad's idea. You should blame it on him.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the day when I was really a child, my brother Tom and I would write songs together.
Yeah.
And at some point, we veered off and kind of started doing it separately and then showing it, the song we'd written to each other, you know. And certainly by the time Creedence was happening, that I had begun to just write the songs by myself.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way, you know, all through the years.
Sure.
Not really sure why, as I sit here now.
So was it difficult? I mean, because you've gone so long, you know, kind of just doing your own thing, and then you sit down and you're like, okay, are you playing a lick on the guitar, and then I'm coming up with the line of the song, or what was that process like?
Well, you're asking a very good question. I didn't really know what would happen. Like when I'm by myself, when I'm writing a song, it's kind of like that. I usually have a guitar in my hands, and I'm usually inspired because I come up with a lick first, some kind of cool thing on the guitar that sort of triggers the rest of the process for me. You know, you could actually write a song and don't need a guitar lick. Yeah. You know, a lot of people do. But for some reason, for me, I need to have, you know, that thing that's at the beginning of Green River, or the chord, the little chord progression in Proud Mary, that sort of thing. And so over time, over the years, I've thought about, you know, collaborating. I mean, I wonder what that would be like. But I was also a little, I don't know, afraid. You know, what if you get there and nothing works, and you just kind of tapping on the table and looking at each other, and
what do we do
nothing
now?
happens? Well, a few years ago, Brad and I got together, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, so this was attempted before?
Yes, we spent a day at my house out in California, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that. And at the end of the day, we really hadn't done anything other than me getting a few pointers from Brad on the guitar.
Oh, no, surely you were showing him a thing or two.
No. It's like, hey, man, how do you do this? I love that on Mud on the Tires or whatever it was, you know. And, you know, and then Brad left, and, you know, the next few days I'm thinking, man, I was kind of embarrassed. Like, wow, I hope he gives me another chance.
Oh, gosh. I'm sure he would say quite the opposite when it comes to his perspective of getting to write with you.
Well, you know, I don't know, maybe. But he does collaborate a lot. Yeah. And it's a cool process. It really is. And while I didn't quite know how it would work, you know, I came out to Nashville to Brad's place for this song, and we kind of we eased into it. We kind of tried some other musical things. You might call that small talk before you get down to business.
Yeah, between music stars.
Yeah, and the stuff was kind of silly, you know, whatever. And then Brad started talking about, he had a point of view about a subject that he wanted to address, and he wanted to write a song. He wanted to call it Love and War. Yeah. And I didn't know this when he kind of suckered me out there, you know, to his farm. He says, well, John, I'm going to call the album Love and War, but if I can't write the song, then I'm not going to use Love and War, and that won't be the name of the album.
No pressure.
Exactly. I looked at him and said, oh, okay. Oh. No pressure, Brad. Yeah, look, what?
Here we go.
Well, that turned out to be a very personal song in reflection of your own life, what the song had meaning to.
I think that's what he had in mind. Sure. I think that
before he asked you to come out there.
I think that's why I was there, you know? Yeah. And not some other fella. Yeah. And it was an honor. It was also almost effortless. And it was stuff I hadn't really done. You know, we talked about how we felt about the subject of neglect of our veterans. And as we talked for an hour or two, just kind of, you know, bringing to light in both of our minds some of our thoughts, our point of view about the subject. And many of those lines, almost word for word, ended up being part of the song. And, you know, while I didn't realize it at the time, you know, when we then said, or he probably said, well, let's try and get that into a song. How would that go? And I go, and I'd say something or he'd say something. And,
With you being a veteran, did you find that made it easier to write this song, or did you find that maybe it was a little bit more difficult to kind of come up with some of the concepts and the flow of it?
I think in a sense it was easier because a lot of these things are things I've thought about for quite some time. I mean, all the way back to the Vietnam era when I was in the military. Certainly, I had some points of view that were in the songs I wrote around that time.
Sure.
Concerning the military, of course. And then, let's say the neglect that our GIs faced coming home. America just ignored them. I used to be really angry. I was going to use some other phrase, but I'm not sure how in depth you're. Anyway, I was angry about that. I thought, wow, man, and I'd see guys that had lost a leg, or you could obviously emotionally distraught.
Yeah.
And I'd think, why aren't they helping these people? Why are we practically spitting on them?
Yeah.
As a nation, it took until Jimmy Carter, until America finally acknowledged that we even had veterans, and officially say thank you.
Yeah.
And that was a long time. But that, that was then. I mean, it sort of, America said, we're sorry we took so long. Thank you for your service.
That's about time.
But time has moved on, and we've had a few other conflicts since then. But lo and behold, our MO seems to be the same. Great. We have a big band and flag waving and send them off, and then kind of ignore the ones that make it back. So having thought about things for such a long time, I think some of that at least made its way into the song.
That's the heart of the title track and the heart that went into writing it as well. Mr. Fogerty, thank you so much for your service and for coming out here and being a part of that album. I think Brad was awfully proud to be able to showcase you on it. It's really cool.
Thank you.
And look for that
Had a
really
great time.
awesome thing coming out. Thank you so much, John Fogerty. 93.3 Jake FM.